Hi everyone, Grandmaster Ben Finegold here with my third video of the hour. First two have been uploaded. This is the only game that I won in the match against the San Diego Surfers. This is against Craig Hilby, or as he's known online, Craig Num Yum. And I've never played him before. I've seen him at the World Youth. He's about 2,400 USCF, 2330 FIDE, give or take. He's either an FM or an IM, I'm not sure. I mean, if he's not an IM, he should be. And he's a teenager, he's about 15 maybe. If you're 18 or 19, Craig, sorry, but you're not 18 or 19, you're 15 or 16, I think. Anyway, I could have looked that up in like 5 seconds, but I'm too lazy. Okay, so I did no prep for Craig, 0, and I didn't know what I would do on move 1, and I decided to play d4. Got to play something. And he played the Grunfeld. And I normally play e3 and queen b3. And lately I've been playing this other nonsense. So I decided here I would play something that I used to play a lot before Craig was born, which is knight f3 and bishop g5. And if he prepared for me, probably didn't, but you never know. He probably didn't think I would play this. And he played the only line that I know, which is knight e4, takes, e6. E6 is discovered attack on the knight, and obviously attacking the pawn. Now, a common line for white, which I don't think I've ever played in slow chess, is queen d2 defending the knight, and then queen e3 check, and then queen f4 threatening mate, and then I think bishop f6, h4 is the most common line. And if you play the Grunfeld and you play this way with black, you have to know this line. So I usually just play the move knight f3. And this line was very popular between like 1970 and 1995, and then nobody plays it now. It doesn't really give white anything. E3. And probably the last time I had this position in a tournament game was against Sam Shankland when our ratings were about the same. So that's how long ago it was, because Sam's about 185 points higher rated than me now, FIDE. Okay, so e3 and castles. Black can also play a5 here if he's interested in stopping b4. In my opinion, a5 is the best move, but castles is fine. Okay, b4. And this position, this variation was seen in a famous game from the Olympiad, Dubai 1986, where actually my first wife played in that video. Played in that video? Wow. Played in that Olympiad. And she played in that video. For the U.S. women's team. Yasser Seirawan beat Garry Kasparov famously in this line. They got into a drawn ending, and Kasparov felt he had to win for the team, and he lost. And the U.S. actually beat the Soviet Union in that Olympiad. Okay, so b4. And Yasser has white in these positions all the time. Black normally plays c6 here, solid, and queen d6 is also a popular move, and knight c6 is a move also. My opponent played b6, a move I don't know. b6 is okay. He wants to play c5, obviously, so I played b5, and he traded the pawns, traded the rooks, and, you know, white has sort of a nice bind here. It's sort of like a queen's gambit declined kind of position where black's fianchettoed his bishop. It's that, and I have white in those kinds of positions a lot. Okay, c5, I took on passant. And I don't know, I'd rather have white here, but I made a tiny mistake here. I think I should play bishop e2 and then castle. But I figure I'd gain a tempo. And I play bishop b5. Although probably my knight belongs on b5 and my bishop belongs on e2. So, okay, knight a5, which is okay. I castled, bishop g4. Now, here, when I looked at the game with an engine about half an hour ago, it suggested a move I didn't look at. It didn't occur to me in a million years to let my opponent play bishop takes f3. However, if I play queen a2, attacking the d pawn, and he messes up my pawns, there's not really a good defense to the d5 pawn. So, I mean, I still wouldn't have played this if I had seen this, because even now looking at it, I see queen g5 check and rook d8. I mean, the computer likes white here, but I don't know why I messed up my pawns. Okay, so I'm still not playing that. All right, so I played knight d2, and that's fine. Queen d6, and I made a bad move. I have things very precipitous here. My knight on c3 is defended by my queen. My knight's defending my bishop. My other knight's not defended. I can't reach the keys on my keyboard. So there's a lot of issues here. So I should do something about that. But no, I undefended my knight on c3. And then when he was thinking about his move, I was like, what do I do on queen b4? And I was like, I don't know. And then I decided I could play like bishop e2. And I think bishop e2 is the computer move. But, I mean, what's wrong with me? Why am I undefending my knight, which is defending my bishop? So after here, like, I'm still okay. But, okay, he thought a long time here and played rook c8. And I played the brilliant queen maneuver, queen a2 to b2. You didn't see that coming. Okay, it's not really hurting me. My game is still fine. Bishop f8, always play bishop f8. Computer actually likes that move. Bishop a6, get your rook off of the file. The computer doesn't get the rook off the file, plays rook c6, but my opponent did. And I retreated like a Frenchman. Now my knight can go to b5 where it belongs. Bishop e6. I guess he wanted to play some kind of queen b4, queen a3 kind of thing, but his d-pawn's weak, so he defended it. Also, bishop on g4 isn't really doing anything. Okay, rook b1, that stops queen b4, and maybe it threatens his b-pawn, who knows. So he played rook b8, which is pretty passive. I don't think the computer likes that. Knight b5, queen e7. Now I was pretty happy because I'm not losing material, and positionally, my opponent has two isolated pawns. So, okay, rook c1, seizing the open file for half a move. Rook c8. I think the computer wants to play queen b4 and says it's equal. Trade. h3, getting luffed. Bishop a6. Computer doesn't like that too much. This is okay. Queen c2, defending my bishop. I actually defended my pieces this game. And after queen b4, knight c3, Peter wants black to play bishop b7, which is pretty passive. But I guess it just doesn't like the trade. And now my opponent made a tactical error, although, I mean, he just has two isolated pawns here, and I have a great pawn structure, so this is hard to play for black. Now, unfortunately for him, he was getting into time trouble here, and I was playing pretty quickly. I like to play fast in game 15. I don't want to have 1 or 2 minutes left because then I hang all my pieces. And he was getting into that kind of situation. So he played a tactical error, knight b3, which just loses a pawn, although the engine doesn't want me to take it. It wants me to play knight to b1. And its analysis, okay, I'm threatening the d5 pawn. This is the analysis it gives, which is pretty funny. And then the only way to save the b pawn is to go here, then I attack it again, then I attack it again, and I win a pawn. I mean, I'm not giving the guy two connected pass pawns in a game 15 because, you know, if I make a mistake, he gets two queens. So that's the computer line that I'm never, ever, ever, ever playing, even in a slow game. However, I want to pawn another way where I don't really get a big advantage. I played knight takes d5, which I actually calculated accurately. I'm attacking his queen, so he has to take my knight. I take his knight, and this position's obviously winning unless black can do something fast, which he can. Queen e1 check. Bishop d6 check. I just block with the pawn, and then he's got nothing. So he has to take on f2, which he did. And I take on b6, not only winning a pawn, but stopping bishop d6 check. Here I thought this was very close to winning. The computer says I got nothing. It says he should play king g7, defending f6. And it says I got nothing. It says my extra pawn's meaningless, and my king is exposed, and he's got no problems. It prefers white, but not a winning advantage. Okay. And after queen b6, he played h5. I played queen f6, which is a good move. I don't know if he should trade queens. I mean, I wouldn't trade queens because I think white's king, you know, can get exposed on the dark squares. So played queen e1. I made one good move this game, only one. Queen e5, centralization. And played h4, not caring about these discovered checks. And here the computer wants me to play d5. It doesn't like my move at all. I agree, I like d5. In fact, I like d5 so much that after I checked him, I played d5. Problem with bishop to g7 is I can check, and then check, and then check. So I'm winning another pawn. Yeah. So he played king to g8, and I played d5. Okay, and now he played a fantastic move, and I thought it was terrible. So, yeah, this is a tough position for black, because my queen's good, my knight's good, I'm pawn up, I pass pawn. He played f5, and now I made a bad move. I think knight f6 check was correct, and I have like a big advantage, maybe winning, maybe not. But I blundered according to the engine. I played queen e6. Now, I have a friend, which I know is hard for you to believe at home, named Wesley Berger. Actually, he was my dad's friend, but I sort of stole him. We play bridge together sometimes. He's a master. He's beaten the grandmasters before any of you were born. He retired from chess when I was a little kid. Anyway, he told me the reason that I'm good. He actually gave me a couple of reasons, but funny reason was he said I make good mistakes. These are mistakes that work out in practice. So queen e6 is a mistake, and I won the game very quickly because of this mistake. So surprisingly, the computer says all zeros after king h8. Problem is, if my knight ever moves, he has perpetual check. You know, he's going to play queen g3, queen e1. So I can check, but I can't really do anything. So, for example, I thought after bishop g7 that this would be good for me, but maybe I got nothing. Yeah. So, yeah, in fact, after knight f3, for example, which looks like it stops everything, he just plays bishop e5 check, and then he has this perpetual. And maybe I'm missing something, but yeah, computers after king h8, it's equal, which surprised me. Now, of course, he had like 10 seconds here, and I had 4 minutes. So if he plays a move where he's equal, I'm probably still going to win, unless he just perpetual checks me. But I think I can keep playing the game and not get perpetualed and just not have an advantage. But, I mean, he has seconds on his clock. So I'm probably going to win anyway. But, you know, if I'm playing a strong player like my opponent or even better, and he has 2, 3, 4 minutes, probably after king h8 just to draw. Okay, he played king g7. And I played queen f6 check. And king g7 is just a blunder. Now I'm completely winning. For example, king h6 is checkmate. So that's not good. And I think king h7, I also just made him. Yeah, and then queen g5 mate or queen h8 mate, depending. So he played king g8, and I took. And if he plays the right move, king h8, I could just play queen takes f5, and I'm 3 pawns up. And this trick that he has, where he perpetuals me, doesn't work because it's not a perpetual anymore. My queen's on the f file. Yeah. So, yeah, that just wins. He played bishop g7, which is a mistake, losing anyway, and now I have checkmate. If he plays king in the corner, I have queen h7 mate. I have other mates in too, but he played king f8, and I played mate. So that was my only victory, and it wasn't easy. The one good thing I did that game, I didn't make a lot of good moves, but I played much faster than my opponent, and then when he had less than 30 seconds, he played like I do. He made a lot of mistakes, because that's what I do when I have less than 30 seconds. So I try to avoid having less than 30 seconds. Trying is the first step to failure. Well, that was my only win, and that was actually very important because we won that round. It was the only round that we won. That's funny. So the first round was 2-2. The second round was 2-2. This round we won 2.5, 1.5. This is very important because we had draw odds. If the match was 8-8, we win. So now we needed 1.5 out of 4 to win the match, and they needed 3 out of 4 to win the match. And we have Wesley playing, and Wesley was white in the last round. So we were pretty confident of victory at that point. Yeah, I just realized now talking to you guys that 3 of the rounds were 2-2, and then round 3 won 2.5, 1.5. It's pretty close round, pretty close match. All right, I hope you liked that video, maybe more than the other ones, because I won a game. Who would have thunk it was possible? This is Grandmaster Ben Finegold. Please like and subscribe. atlchessclub.com if you want to look at our website or donate, and follow me on Twitter and Facebook. All right, video number 4 coming up later. I think I'll take a break, but you'll see video 4 today. Bye, everyone.